Mylec Hockey is your leading provider in ball hockey equipment and proud sponsor of the National Ball Hockey League. Mylec has been around for 50 plus years, pioneering the sport of off-ice hockey, creating the iconic orange ball, which is the most used and recognized ball around the world. Mylec's MK5 ball is the official ball of the National Ball Hockey League, weighing a little heavier than the original no bounce ball at 66 grams. The heavier ball reduces bounce a little and also plays a little truer than the traditional no bounce orange ball that you're used to. To check out the MK5 ball and all the other products Mylec has to offer, head over to Mylec.com and use promo code Commish Chat at checkout for 15% off. Once again, that's promo code Commish Chat, COMMISHCHAT at checkout for 15% off.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Commish Chat Podcast. I'm Anthony Sanrocco, NBHL Commissioner, joined by NBHL co-founders Gianni Sanrocco and TJ Janus as we take you through everything that's happened in the past month. We've had a big hiatus here, but we're back and a lot to talk about. But fellas, how are we doing?
Doing excellent off a week vacation, so from the Outer Banks. So I'm rejuvenated and ready for the Mylec Cup, baby.
Welcome back to real life.
Yeah, ready to go post regular and post season here, getting ready for the Mylec Cup.
Yeah, a lot of prep work to be done, and we've got our Fishtown Showdown. It's a little 3-on-3 tournament we're having locally here that we're prepping for this. I mean, at the time of you listening to this podcast, it's probably today.
Happening right now.
We're having it. Yeah.
I just went bar down.
Yeah, second goal of the year for you, TJ.
Right after I make a sick love save.
Yes.
But so prepping that in addition to the Mylec Cup, it's a lot right now, but it's a lot. It's fun to be busy with the stuff and prepping all of this. And before we get into all that, let's talk World Championships, Masters World Championships. So shout out to Canada coming back with 2 golds, and shout out to USA 35 plus men and the women's Masters for coming back with silver. Hell of a tournament and some pretty amazing games. Did you guys watch the gold medal game with USA Canada and the 35 plus men's?
I call it like the end of it. It was electric. And the crowd there, sometimes the camera would pan around and there were so many people watching. It was awesome.
I did not actually catch the end, but I did go back and I watched, I swear I went on Facebook and like 20 people were streaming the game on Facebook. So I literally could just pop in and out anytime I opened my phone, which is kind of what I did throughout the whole tournament. But it was enjoyable. It looked like a great event, and ISBHF did it right. And same with USA Ball Hockey. So, I mean, I'm sure they're happy with the result, silver, but I know they wanted gold.
Yeah, USA Ball Hockey did an awesome job hosting. It's pretty, we organized this massive Mylec Cup, and we're not coordinating international travel. I can't even imagine the chaos. I mean, I guess, the Daredevils, but that's not
we have
like
one
what they're
international
doing.
team. Don't
we
sell
do.
yourself
I guess
short,
we are
right?
we're a little international, a little bit, but yeah, it doesn't even truly compare to what USA Ball Hockey had to do for this. It was, I know it's a ton of work talking to some of the people that worked there, but they got a lot to be proud of. I think it turned out pretty well, and yeah, that game for the men was crazy. They were down 3-1, scored 2 to tie it up late. Overtime, they pretty much dominated overtime, I thought, but they just couldn't score. And then ended in a shootout, 2-1. Just a tough way for it to end.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's the tough part about international sports. I feel like the Olympics has it too with the ending in the shootout, but you got to do it sometimes.
Yeah, and I've asked a few people like why is it a shootout, and I think a lot of it has to do with just like, Mylec Cup, there's still flights, there's still people driving away, but we kind of encourage everyone like, hey, like there's a very good chance you're gonna be playing late into Sunday. Like make sure you leave Monday, like plan to leave Monday. And I'm not sure how they do it at Worlds, but I know that, there's probably less. I would assume there's less flight options going from Buffalo to overseas. So I think they just wanted to make sure that everything finished on time so that people could, make sure they're getting to their flights, getting to the places they have to be. So, shootout's a kind of a tough way to end, but it is what it is. It is what it is. And, I think we haven't really spoken about the women. They lost 3-0 to Canada. They had another, they had a really good tournament. This is their second consecutive World Championships, coming back with a medal, having the gold from last year. And was it Czech Republic last year?
Kosice,
Masters?
maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, Kosice or something.
Yeah, whatever that place was.
I'm not going to try to pronounce it.
No,
Yeah.
don't try. You'll just embarrass yourself like me and TJ just did. But we yeah, the women have
How?
they got the silver. They played great. Lost 3-0 to Canada again, but it's Canadians' year, I guess. It's their year.
35 and over, yeah. But what how long was the OT? Was
10.
it just it was a 10?
I think it was
Yeah.
10. Maybe it was 12. It was 10 or 12, but I think it was a full period.
Yeah. At least they did that. If it was just a 5, I would have been like,
Yeah.
That's
And it was a
little.
5-round shootout too, which is like a little bit better than the traditional 3-round.
Yeah, I could definitely be misspeaking on it being a full overtime, but whatever. Regardless, OT shootout, 5-round
Yeah.
shootout, and 2-1 loss. It was close.
It is what it is.
But yeah, so shifting Mylec Cup here. It's been a lot. It's been fun. Got now 38 teams coming to the Mylec Cup from 15 states, and I was gathering some info, and I have trivia for the two of you, and I want to test your NBHL knowledge on this season. First question is, 4 states have 5 or more teams coming to the Mylec Cup. What are those states?
Yeah, well, New Jersey off the bat,
New
obviously.
Jersey, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
Massachusetts
Yep.
was 4. What's the 4th one?
Final guesses?
New York.
It's New York.
Oh, yeah.
Is it New York?
Yep.
Yeah, we
I
got
know the
North
2 Long
Jersey.
Island teams. What are the other ones?
It's the 2 Buffalo teams, or the 3 Buffalo teams.
Oh,
I always
Buffalo.
forget that Buffalo's in New York.
Yep.
Yeah, I did
It
not
always
even
feels
think
like
about
its own
that.
state sometimes.
I agree.
I know. It does feel like long. I mean, they're
That's
so
a good
far away.
trivia
It's,
question.
yeah.
Oh, it was 4 states. Okay, not 5. I was like, there's
Yeah.
not 5.
Yeah, no, there's not a 5th. And then next question, what state has the most teams?
New Jersey.
No.
No?
Mm-mm.
Wow.
Probably Mass.
It is
Yeah.
Mass.
Yeah.
Yep. Can you name all of them?
Tropics. Oh, wait, every team out of
The
Massachusetts?
8 Massachusetts teams coming to Mylec Cup.
Tropics, Vengeance, Warriors, Owls, Stars, Nightmares.
Forgetting a tier 3 team and a tier 2 team.
Didn't I get all the tier 2 ones? Tropic, Vengeance, Warriors.
Well, who's coming from from Boston we're missing? Did Massacre make it?
Chargers.
Oh, Chargers.
Chargers are coming back.
New England. Okay.
And then the Boston Rattlers from
Best
Strive
of
tier
Rattlers.
3.
All right.
So there's
I did
the
pretty
8.
well. I'll take it.
Yeah, you rattled those off pretty quick. Well done. And then which tier has teams from the most states?
It's got to be tier 2.
Yeah, probably right.
It's just the biggest tier.
It is, but it's also tied with tier 3. They both have teams from 8 different states.
I would say tier 3 is pretty diverse in terms of
Yeah.
because tier 3's got
Texas.
Texas, they got California,
Carolina.
not Florida. Almost said Florida. Florida's tier 2.
Yeah.
Carolina, yeah.
Yeah, tier 3, the only 2 teams from
Ohio.
the same state are the Philly teams. Actually,
Yeah.
no, tier 3 wins because the Dinos are New Jersey. They have 9 different states.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jersey Dinos and Delco Demons, or Delco Devils. So yeah, actually tier 3 wins that. So
Wow.
I didn't even have my trivia question right. But just yeah, I don't know. I was just diving through stuff. I thought that stuff was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think we have 15 total states at the Mylec Cup represented. I think this season we had players from around 30. If
Yeah,
you
I think-
include, I think it's maybe 32 if you include DC and you include Ontario. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely our biggest year ever in terms of that stuff. And I mean, even Mylec Cup this year will have like over 700 players, 38 teams.
4 rinks.
Yeah, we have a 4th rank this year because we just have to.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's just gonna be crazy.
we got 20 refs coming in from all over. I think we have like 15 or 16 divisions represented by the reffing group, which is pretty amazing. We got a lot of refs returning. We've got some Canadian refs coming in. We've got a bunch of refs who are reffing here for the first time. It was tough making decisions on the officials because last year we had about the same amount and there was a good amount we didn't invite back. And it's just, we want to give as many officials the opportunity to ref here as we can. And it's kind of tough. Like some of the local refs are back for round 2, but then some of them aren't. And some of the refs that traveled aren't back for round 2. And it was very difficult. Like Wabi and I had tons of conversations on deciding this ref crew, and it was tough. We had probably 40 plus refs who put their name in the hat, said, "Hey, we want to come to this." So it's a nice problem to have, and I hope we have some more opportunities for those other officials to do stuff in the future. But 20 officials and 90 games at the Mylec Cup. I think last year we were in the 70s, so we have. We had 32 teams last year. We have 38 this year. We had 70-something games last year. We're at 90 this year. So these numbers keep getting bigger. We need more rinks. We need like a 5-rink facility for next year.
Yeah.
Someone needs to start building that like now, so it's ready for for September.
In 2 years or something. Yeah.
Yeah. But with that, let's get into the playoffs. So like we said earlier, we've kind of been off the grid with this podcast. We've had a few weeks off. We've just been busy with traveling and things, so we haven't gotten to it. So we have a lot to cover here. And first, I'll just go into the playoffs of the divisions we already know who made the Mylec Cup, and then we'll go into the second half will be the divisions that had teams clinch Mylec Cup spots and finished up their playoffs, because we're at the point now there's no more games happening. The last game of the season was in South Jersey Tier 2. I believe that was... What was the date? Was it the 29th, maybe?
I was something like that.
Yeah, that sounds
29th?
right. 29 sounds right, yeah.
Yeah, so that was between the Chimney Fish and the Maple Shade Chiefs. But we'll get into that game later. But Buffalo, they finished up a few weeks ago now. But in Buffalo Tier 1, the 7-1-6ers, they swept, solidified the three-peat. Played the Daredevils again. We got both teams coming to the Mylec Cup. Second straight year they've played each other in the finals. I think I literally just said that, but I'm just going to say it again, I guess. And Denny Schlegel, OT hero, as you know, how could it go any other way? He got the ball in the slot, picked a corner, and it's a celly that I guess we'll never get to see. He put his arms up and started sprinting the other way. I had people telling me, like, Denny scored the game winner. The celly was amazing. Like, you guys got to post it. And the camera didn't get the celly. So we'll never see how he celebrated that goal, but apparently it was a pretty incredible way for him to end the season in Buffalo Tier 1.
It's just a moment for the people in Buffalo to enjoy then.
We'll let him have that one.
Then the other Tier 1 that, we knew the Dogs were in the Mylec Cup. We knew the Hawks were in the Mylec Cup. But the finals, the Hawks finally won one. They finally got their championship. They've been knocking on the door for years, and they didn't make it easy on themselves. They lost game 1. Then they went to game 2 and they won that in overtime. Then they came out in game 3 and they came out fast. They I think they scored a couple in the first period.
2-0 before you blinked. Yeah.
Yeah, they wanted it. They just wanted it more. And I think couple finals losses, couple semifinals losses throughout the years, going all the way back to the EBHL, where they've had so many opportunities. They finally got one, and I was happy for those guys. They earned it. They deserved it. They had a great season. And game 3, so games 1 and 2 were on a Sunday, and then game 3 was that Monday night following. It was a standalone game. There was no games before. There was no games after. So there was no one at the rink that had to be there, because we see a lot of fans that come to games and they're just like, oh, I just finished my game. I'll come watch this one or something like that. So this game 3 was just a standalone game at the Gloucester rinks. And I counted, it was around 160 people came out just to watch this game. There was people on the bleachers. The whole boards were filled. So it was really cool just to see how many people had interest in coming to this game, because, it wasn't just people coming over from their games. People were interested, and they, came out to watch, and they gave them a great game.
Yeah, they willingly had to want to be there, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they gave them a good game. It was awesome. And Hawks, first ship in Jersey Tier 1. Congrats to them. 3 straight different champions in Jersey Tier 1.
Wow, yeah.
Diverse talent we have in this division. A lot of parity.
Yeah, TJ, you kind of did it wrong, because you were on the Dogs when they didn't win in the finals.
Yeah.
They lost to the Caribou. Then you go to the Caribou, and the Dogs won it the next year. And then this year, well, none of us won, but yeah. You were like, how was it? Marion Hossa who went?
So do I get back to the Dogs? Is that what?
I think you go to the Hawks now, right? And then the Hawks lose to the Top Guns in the finals.
So next in Buffalo was Tier 2. Wear It, they went back to back, beat the Reapers 2-1 in the series. The Reapers won game one. I think they had 6 goals. They had a pretty dominant game one. Game two, Reapers tied it late, forced overtime, and Wear It won it in overtime. And then game three, RJ Gibbs had a hattie to seal the ship for them. I think they won 3-1 in that game. He had that one goal. We posted. I still don't know what happened in that goal. Like was he like bouncing it and then like it went over somebody?
I think I know which one you're talking about.
What happened in that? I watched it so many times. I have no idea what happened.
It's tough to tell because the ball like shoots up and you kind of lose it in the camera, and by the time it comes back down, all you can really see is like his bat and his stick around. But he finds the back of the net. It's the only thing that matters at the end of the day.
Yeah, it seemed pretty cool. And a lot of people messaging the NBHL account like, "Yo, RJ Gibbs' goal was insane. You got to post it." We did. I don't know what happened. Tell what happened. It seemed pretty cool though. So shout out RJ Gibbs. Mass Tier 2, shout out Wear It too. Not just RJ, the whole squad, but Mass Tier 2. So the Tropics they won that division. They were down 1-0 to the Warriors. They lost game one. Then game two, they won 3-2, and then game three, they won 3-2. So back-to-back 1-goal games, same day, to win it. And if you watch the highlights of that game, there's a ton of people at that one. They've got like vuvuzelas in the crowd. Like there's like horns and stuff going. Like it's
like a World Cup game.
Yeah, it's like kind of a wild atmosphere. Like even just in like the quick highlight clips, like you just hear the crowd like going crazy with like these horns that they brought. So atmosphere was pretty electric. And I mean, last year was the Tropics and the Warriors in the finals, and the Warriors won. So Tropics now, they get their first division title, got some revenge on the Warriors. And now we got both of those teams plus the Vengeance coming to Mylec Cup. So only division to ever get 3 teams in Mylec Cup. We're not going to talk about why, because we're over that. We're moving past that. And then the last division that we knew who was in the Mylec Cup is Philly Tier 3. The Delco Devils, they beat the Jersey Dinos. They swept them 2-0. They won both games 2-1. And honestly, if you'd asked me before the series who I thought was going to win, I would have said the Dinos. The Dinos had a really good season. They're just a high energy, fast paced
Jersey team. Bias sounds like to me.
Yeah, the East Coast bias we hear about. But the Devils, they're kind of an interesting team where they got a mix of like a lot of older veteran guys, and then they got a like handful of like young kids that are like 15, 16, 17. And we've seen that team dynamic do pretty well historically, and they, I guess it worked. They had the veteran presence. They've got the young kids that can run, and they swept the series. So shout out to the Devils. And I know they wanted that one because whoever lost that series, because in Tier 3 we have 9 teams at the Mylec Cup, so it makes an odd amount of games. So whoever lost that series had to play an additional prelim game to even out the schedule. I know the Devils said, "Hey, we got some older legs here. We don't want that game. We really would prefer not to." And they did what they had to do. They controlled their own destiny, and they did it. So now the Dinos, they've got 4 Saturday games, but
that's just because they were the local team, right? Or no?
No, that's because they came in second, and they were the only runner-up to make the Mylec Cup in Tier 3.
Oh, right, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. That being said, though, there's few teams probably better suited for that than the Dinos, because they had a 4-game weekend during the season, because they weren't even at the opening weekend in Philly because I think a bunch of their players were at a wedding or something like that. I forget what the reason was, but they already had a 4-game weekend, and I think they went 3-1 or 4-0. So they've done it before. I mean, this is the best teams in the country, so it might be a little different than playing Philly Tier 3. But they've done it before, so it'll be a battle. It'll be a battle for them. But yeah, that's all those playoffs. And then the divisions where we hadn't had teams clinch yet, we had Mass Tier 1, and we've got the Oak Ridge Owls coming back and the Leominster Stars making their first appearance at the Mylec Cup. And Stars came back. They were down 1-0 and won games 2 and 3 to win the final, which is kind of similar to last year. I think that's what happened with the Blackhawks when they played the Owls. They went down 1-0 and then they won games 2 and 3 to win that division as well in 2022. So Stars, back-to-back wins, and the series was kind of a little weird. Game 1 and 2 were kind of blowouts. They were like the winning team had 6 goals, the losing team had 2 or 3. Like they weren't really that close. Then game 3 was 0-0 all the way down to the wire, and then Corey Wilson scored with about minute 30 left to win it for the Stars to get a lot of those guys back to the Mylec Cup. They played as the Crooks, the legendary squad, the Crooks, for the past couple years, but rebranded as the Stars this year, and they're coming to Jersey. So Stars and Owls, we'll see.
Yeah, more big names in Tier 1 coming up with these game-winning goals. Denny in Buffalo, Corey in Massachusetts.
And we're about to get to another one in Pittsburgh, Tier 1. That was so Penn Hills Imperium, Steel City Showstoppers, both coming to the Mylec Cup. Imperium, they've won it the past few years, are coming. Showstoppers didn't come last year. Got, a little controversially, depending on who you ask, but they just couldn't make it. Like, they simply just couldn't make it. So they're coming this year. They're going to be missing a few players, but we've got some rules in place this year that will allow them to pull up some Tier 2 players, which they're going to do. But that series was incredible. Like, it was crazy. I think it's still on our Twitch channel if you want to go watch it. But best of 3 series, all 3 games in one day. Game 1, the Imperium won 5-3. Game 2, the Showstoppers win in overtime. And then game 3 was, I've probably said this on the podcast before, that it was one of the best games in NBHL history, like just referring to any certain game.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this one might have been. Like, that
Yeah,
game
this was
crazy.
the one. That was the one.
Definitely.
And on the live stream, too, it doesn't get any better than that.
It peaked at like 260 people watching, like, which is pretty crazy. I think like a couple thousand people tuned into the stream throughout the day, but that was, besides the Mylec Cup finals from last year, that's the highest we've seen on a live stream, like watching it one time, which is pretty cool. But that game, so it's, obviously 1-1. Game 3 decides the series. Tier 1 at the Mylec Cup's a lot different, so the championship matters a lot more than it has in the past. And the Showstoppers go into the third period down 6-4. They scored 2 goals in the last 4 minutes, had a couple power plays, tied it 6-6. Then with a second and a half left, the ball goes out of the rink in the Showstoppers defensive zone. And their captain, the Imperium captain, Mark Bergamasco, goes up, takes the draw. And Mark Berge told me, he's like, Danny said to me, he said, I'm lining up here, win this draw to me. Let's win this. Something along those lines. Something along those lines. Like, I don't know if he said, let's win this, but he said, he set up the play. He said, yeah, I'm going to stand here, win this draw to me. And, Berge won it like as clean as you possibly can. And Danny Cunningham, who's turned into one of the best players in the sport, just ripped one. And, they won with 0.4 seconds left. It was...
And we were I think all of us were sitting Sunday night in New Jersey for the Tier 1 playoffs, and we were all watching it on the phone, and we're like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Like, that was insane. And then you saw other people around were also watching it on their phones, and everyone was looking around like, did you see that? And then word got around quick, but that was definitely the best game in NBHL history for sure.
Yeah, it worked out so perfectly timed because we had games at, I think, 6 and 8, or no.
Yeah, there was a
gap
gap or something, right?
So the gap was perfect, and we had 10 minutes till the game was going to start. So we were all pretty much watching this overtime. Teams were slowly starting to warm up, I think, but we had time, and we were talking about overtime. We were like, wow, this is going to be an overtime game. This is crazy. And then we look down and we see Cunningham sniping. We're like, oh my God, that was insane.
Yeah, I wasn't in Jersey with you guys watching it. We were at the Cool Hockey Events tournament in Nashville, and our whole house, we put up, as soon as we got home from our championship game, we put it on the Twitch stream of the house, and every single goal, the whole house was just erupting. It was like we were watching a Stanley Cup final game. It was great. And then with that last goal that gets scored was, it's one of the best goals that I've seen live in this league, I think, ever.
Yeah, I think, not to get sappy, but the past, month has been a little rough with some of the things that have happened, the stuff that happened in Massachusetts. It's been just not just that, but it's been a little chaotic month. And I think that kind of was that's why we put all this work in, is for moments like that. It
It was a great moment that
it just felt so good to see
Yeah.
that. Like, it was just the excitement, the intensity. Like, it was just like we've said multiple times, like, it's got to be the craziest goal we've ever seen in this league. I mean, just amazing. So shout out to the Imperium. I mean, showstoppers.
And man, I mean, imagine the Imperium lose that game, lose, their Pittsburgh defense, going into the cup. Who knows what could happen? I mean, that's big.
What a way to three-peat.
Yeah,
right?
Literally. It's going to ride that momentum, probably.
Going into the women's tier here. So DC women's. On the last podcast, we touched on the possibility of Maxie Weiss having to play for 2 teams at the Mylec Cup if the Lady Bing Blossoms won it. And she, I'm not going to say won it for them, but she didn't let up any goals in playoff Sunday. She had a extremely dominant playoffs, and the Lady Bing Blossoms are coming. So we're working on some creative solutions right now on how we're going to figure out this goalie situation, because both of Maxie's teams go to the finals, she could end up playing, in theory, like 11 games, which obviously cannot happen, like humanly possible. Like, that's just insane. But yeah, the Lady Bing Blossoms, they had a pretty awesome season, and we're gonna get them another goalie to help that out. We have rules in place to allow that to happen. But yeah, DC champs. We've had some good team names win from DC. Last year we had the Daiquiris, and this year we've got the Lady Bing Blossoms. So
what mascot will they bring? Find out in a few weeks.
Yeah, Blossoms. The bar was set high last year, so we're expecting some sort of mascot. Let's hope.
Are you guys ready to get bucked up? If you're looking for something to give you the energy, focus, and endurance you need to conquer your next game or workout, then Bucked Up is for you. Bucked Up just released a new line of endurance products perfect for NBHL players and fans alike. Let me just mention a few. Go all out with Bucked Up's new Full Bore product, which focuses on blood flow and bringing more oxygen to the lungs and muscles. It also has other innovative clinical ingredients which will give you the stamina and power to push through the pain in practice, during workouts, and in games. Bucked Up's long range contains a proper balance of carbohydrates and sodium to refuel your body during your exercises, and Bucked Up IV will also restore the fluids and electrolytes that you sweat out during games. Also, be sure to check out Bucked Up's #1 best-selling pre-workout products to help take your training sessions to the next level. Head over to buckedup.com and use promo code NBHL20 to get 20% off your next order. Once again, that's promo code NBHL20 to get 20% off your next order.
And our next women's tier was the Pittsburgh women's tier, and the McKeesport Riddlers. They beat the defending Pittsburgh champs, the Steel City Snipes, in the finals. Finals were a best of 3. And they're the first women's tier to do that. They did single elimination in the semifinals, and then the finals was a best of 3.
I think that's the best way.
Yeah, I've talked to a couple other women's divisions about maybe doing that next year. So it's something we're going to look into if the timing works out and everything. But I do think that system is really good. And the Riddlers swept that final. They won both games. They outscored the Snipes 6-0. The division MVP, Lauren Campbell, she had a hat trick in the clinching game. She was, an MVP, as she should be. But, last year, the Snipes, they went all the way to the Mylec Cup finals. They lost a extremely dramatic game to the Wild. So the bar is set high from last year's team from this women's tier. And this Riddler seems really good. They have a smaller roster. I think that could end up being an issue for them. I'm not sure how many players they're definitely going to have coming. But if they get a good portion of their roster there, and they, they're going to be good, because that Pittsburgh women's division, there's a lot of talent there. But yeah, sweep. I'd say it was probably a 3-team race for that title, and the Riddlers were definitely one of those teams that we thought was one of the best ones in women's. I know we had them ranked pretty high in our first power rankings that we sent out to. Yeah, women's tier set between the Riddlers. It's going to be the Lady Bing Blossoms, the Nightmares, and the Marlton Cavalry, hometown squad. So
go Cats.
Sure will be fun. Then now in tier 2, the Chargers, South Coast Chargers. New England tier 2, the Mylec Cup tier 3 defending champions are coming back. They made it a little dramatic. They went down 1-0 in the first game of the finals to the Mass Minutemen, and then games 2 and 3 they outscored them 13-4. They kind of put their foot on the gas, and they're coming back. They got some. They're gonna have some of the nicer jerseys at the Mylec Cup too. They got these pretty sick jerseys with the lightning bolts and stuff. I don't know. They look awesome. But the champs are back, and one of the better prelim games is going to be them versus the Chiefs. They drew each other as a finals rematch. So that's going to be a good one. The unfortunate part is it's at 8 a.m. So it's the early slot. But
starting off
that's
strong.
going to be a hell of a game. Yeah, going to be a hell of a game. And Philly Tier 2, so the Phoenixville Purge, they beat the Heat 2-1. They clinched their spot. Got a handful of players that were in the Mylec Cup last year on the Mud Dogs. I think we talked about that last pod. But, they lost game 1. The Heat were down 2-0 in game 1. Then they scored, Jason Rezniak, he scored like this full-length slap shot at the end of one of the periods, kind of like, fire up the Heat, pun not intended. And they come back and win that game 3-2. But then games 2 and 3, the Purge outscored them 9-1 and took the Philly Tier 2 crown. So that's a division, 3 straight years, 3 different champions. And the first year was the Harrisburg Hustle. Last year was the Philly Heat. And this year's the Phoenixville Purge. So nice to see some parity there, see some new teams get some titles. And
brand new team too getting that title. It's not like it's an existing team getting it.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of high praise for this Purge team throughout the season. I've heard that they are they're kind of a force. So I'd say they're one of those teams at the Mylec Cup that we're expecting a lot from. Pittsburgh Tier 2, we had the rematch of last year's finals, the Butler Bantams and North Side Militia. Last year they were North Hills, this year North Side. And the Bantams won. They swept them. Won 2-0, but I want to recap their semifinals and finals because they did it about as dramatically as they possibly could. Their semifinal matchup was against the McKeesport Magic. Game 1, they score a goal with 1:12 left to win that one. Game 3, they lose game 2, 1-goal game. Game 3, they beat them in overtime to advance to the finals. So 2 very late dramatic wins. First game of the finals versus Militia, they scored 2 goals in the third to beat them 4-3. And then in game 2 of the finals, they scored with 1:15 left to win that game. So I don't know.
It's a good problem.
This Bantams team, I guess they never gave up throughout the entire playoffs.
I feel like I remember them last year having some drama in the playoffs too, and I can't recall exactly, but I just remember maybe a highlight or a big goal at the end of their playoff game or whatever, clinching goal. But I was high on the Bantams last year. I honestly didn't pay too much attention to them this year, but excited to see them back in Marlton.
Bantams are divas. They're very dramatic, so that'll make for some good games at Mylec Cup, I'm sure.
Not the BC.
That's what we like here. We like the drama. We like the excitement, Score big late goals.
And speaking of that, South Jersey Tier 2, we had the Maple Shade Chiefs and the Atlantic City Chimney Fish. 3 seed and the 5 seed, which is, again, good to see. Jersey's had, that Jersey Tier 2 had some lower seeds make some runs in the past. The Mojo won the Mylec Cup as a 7 seed from that division back in 2021. And the Chimney Fish, not a lot of people knew who that team was going to be bringing this year, so they were kind of a wild card, and they were awesome. They were amazing. That team just runs. They just run. They don't stop. And they gave the Chiefs a run for their money. They won game 1. Right? Did they win game 1? Yeah. The
Fish won
the
game
Chimney
1.
Fish won game 1. And then the Chiefs won game 2. So game 3 again, standalone game on the Monday night following. And it was 2-2 game late into the third period. And Eric Bell, part of that line that was just dominant this year between Eric Bell, Marty Bell, and
I literally can't think of his name right now.
Ben Smith.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on. We need to do that again. I can't disrespect him like that.
I was like, wait, what is that guy's name?
I was waiting. I just thought surely he's not gonna blank on that part.
Yeah. But yeah, it's late in the third period, and that dominant line of Eric Bell, Marty Bell, and Ben Smith is out there, and it's just like a mad scramble in front. We posted it online, and it pops out to Marty. 40 seconds left, and he puts it home, and probably shows the most emotion I've seen out of the Chiefs over the past couple years. They were pretty fired up. It was cool to see, but Chiefs team, man, they've got some skill. That top line is outrageously good. They've got,
I feel like they
they're
just
not
have
a
a
one-line
top
team.
I feel like they have a top line that's really skilled, and the rest of the guys just know how to play hockey like the right way.
Yeah,
And
like
they might not have the best physical, capabilities, but they know how to move the ball, and they know the game of hockey really well.
And then behind all that, you got Dan Cohen. You got to get by if you get through all their guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, they went to the championship for a reason last year, and they went to the championship last year at the Mylec Cup with only 10, 11 players. Like, crazy day for them.
Yeah.
So, I'm expecting them to, have a pretty good weekend. And Chimney Fish, too. I mean, they're one of those teams that no one's going to enjoy playing. They're just going to...
Yeah, they're just such a grindy team.
Yeah, they're going to annoy the hell out of people, but they're going to win some games. They're going to be good. DC Tier 2, the Arlington Plague, they're coming back. They were at the Mylec Cup in 2021. They beat last year's defending champs, the Maryland Sparks, in Game 3. They won 3-1. Some, that Game 2 ended, I think, in July, and we didn't get the Game 3 till like the end of August. There was a bunch of schedule changes, whatever. But the Plagues, they're MVPs. Sean Joyce won MVP was most valuable forward in 2021. This year, AJ Getz won the division MVP, and they had all their goals in the deciding game. They won 3-1. Joyce had 2, Getz had 1, and they're fired up. They build their team for this. They've got most of their roster coming, and I think they're a little disappointed with how they did a couple years ago, and they're looking to, perform a little better than that. So Plague will be another tough squad, tough out the Mylec Cup. And our final Tier 3 to wrap up was Indiana, the Columbus Counts. They won it all. They beat the Mastodons. They won 5-0. And the Counts, they went 12-0. Pretty dominant season. Very, very dominant season. For a division new division this year, you don't really know what to expect going into them. You're not sure what the skill level is going to be. You're not sure what the parity is going to be. And they went 12-0, but the teams did get, like, the games got closer as the season went on. Like, the other teams improved. They had a team that was top dog they were gunning for, and the Counts, they did what they had to do, but these other teams, they didn't make it easy on them. And they're another team that they're fired up. Have a relatively small group of people playing ball hockey in Columbus, so this should be, hopefully put the sport on the map a little more there and get some eyes on it, and hopefully get some more teams for that division next year, because I know there's some interest, and we're hoping to expand there. But congrats to the Counts. Congrats to all these teams that won their divisions and are coming. We can't wait to see everybody, and it's a hell of a season. All right, now we take it to our interview of the week with Randy Langille from Integral Hockey. They've got some pretty interesting technology for rebuilding hockey sticks, and it kind of goes in depth on it. And we'll take it to Randy.
Integral Hockey Stick Sales and Repair has been providing ball hockey and ice hockey players with the best quality hockey sticks at bargain prices for over a decade. As ball hockey has become much more competitive over the years, we understand there's a growing need for reliable sticks that help enhance the quality of players' shots and stick handling. Ball hockey players can now purchase top models of Bauer, CCM, and Warrior Pro Stock sticks at up to 70% off retail prices. Integral Hockey Stick Sales and Repair has now saved hockey players throughout North America in excess of $27 million on stick costs. Integral Hockey patented repair process is the only repair in the world that brings the stick back to like-new condition, where even ex-NHLers cannot tell the stick was ever broken. Integral Hockey is so confident in their system that they offer a lifetime warranty on all repairs. Try it once and you'll never want to pay retail prices ever again.
And now welcoming to the Commish Chat Podcast, Randy Langille, the president of Integral Hockey. Randy, it's great to have you.
Anthony, thanks. Nice to be here.
So Integral Hockey is a sponsor for the NBHL. They do a lot for us, a lot for our players. And, we just want to talk about their services and how everything kind of came to be. So just starting at the beginning here, how did this company and the process to fixing these sticks come to be?
That was going back to 1994 was the first time I repaired the first Synergy that came out. You remember those? They were like first stick to hit the $200 mark, and I had a lot of friends coming and saying, I just bought this thing. They don't come with a warranty. It's 30 days and it's broken, and I need this. I can't afford to go buy another stick. So I was playing around with it. Long story short, it was a very rudimentary process. It didn't work that well. It was a bulky external repair, added weight, everything else. And then in 2010, I had same situation, a bunch of friends asking me, begging me to repair these fragile, broken sticks, expensive sticks. And in the middle of, trying to repair half a dozen of these sticks, 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up and I remembered a process that I used to use when I was working for a company building aftermarket aircraft components. And this process from the aerospace industry directly fit, just with a slight modification, work to repair these composite sticks with a hollow internal repair using a vacuum infused process. And what it does is it brings the stick back to its original life. We've got ex-NHLers that can't even tell the difference. We've got people that tell us all the time, I'll never buy a new stick again because it works that well. The hollow repair, it doesn't add a lot of weight. It maintains the flex, the kick point, and it saves people a ton of money. So, lifetime warranty on all our repairs. And it's just, it's almost a no-brainer for a lot of people now.
Well, and it like when you say a broken stick, is it like the shaft is broken, the blade is broken? Is it like what kind of breaks can be fixed with this process?
All breaks. There isn't a break that we can't repair now. Some sticks, obviously, if they're too beat up and scratched and skate cuts and everything else, they're just not worth repairing. We don't do that. Or if it's a cheap, $60 Canadian Tire special or Walmart special that's made out of fiberglass rather than carbon fiber, it's not worth it. It's just not gonna. It's not what we do. We try and always focus on the high end sticks, high end value. So there's whether it's if a kid or a player puts a stick across the crossbar and smashes it and it's crushed for like a 3-inch section, we've got to remove that 3-inch section of the shaft. So then we put a carbon fiber extension on the end and all is good. Blade repairs, goalie paddles, blades, shafts, everything's repairable.
Wow. Okay. So whatever part is broken, you have to cut out and then you add an extension on the end. But this stick remains the same length and now it's fixed and everything else remains the same.
Yep. We can always bring it back to same length. And the flex, balance, kick point, everything's just like it was.
How long does the process take to repair one of these sticks?
Well, it takes our guys. We have 88 locations throughout North America, and it takes approximately 15 to 20 minutes to repair the stick. But then it has 72-hour cure time because epoxy needs an extended cure time to bring it to full strength.
So, what kind of players are using your stick? You say ex-NHLers have used them, ice hockey players, ball hockey players. What's been the feedback been, and what kind of players have been using them?
It's generally all players, 13 years and up. Once they start breaking sticks, whether the parents are motivated or the kids, we're seeing more and more kids understanding and having that compassion and that empathy for their parents and their wallets. So it works for everybody. Junior sticks, intermediate, senior, everything. And ball hockey players are a massive part of our market. Men's leagues, beer leagues, all kinds of different leagues. Midget AAA, we've got Junior A, D1 players that are using these sticks, and they have the utmost confidence because the process is so refined and it works so well. So it's good for everybody, every player.
Just out of curiosity, so say I had like 2 different sticks. Both sticks were broken, and they're like, one's a CCM, one's a Bauer. Could I send you half of both of them and you put them together?
We call those Frankensticks. We can actually add, within reason, if the shaft dimensions are relatively the same, we can add all kinds of different. We can make a stick out of 3 different pieces of sticks. Seriously, it's these Frankensticks. There's a lot of people that say, I like this blade pattern and it's discontinued. Can you put this blade on this shaft? And we do that all the time. We're actually, as I speak, we're working on a process where we can take an existing blade if somebody doesn't like the curve, and we can actually change the pattern, change the curve for them with a new process that we're just working on right now.
And then does Integral make any of their own sticks, or is it fully just repairs?
You know what, we tried that quite a few years ago. We had the Integral Hockey eye stick that we introduced to the market, but quite frankly, everybody really, there is a good following, a strong following to the brands. People, they want that Bauer name, that newest, greatest, and with the graphics. And we had a really high-end performance stick manufactured overseas, but it didn't have the graphics that could compete with Bauer and CCM and Warrior and all that. So we discontinued that. We're repairing so many sticks now because of the lack of manufacturer's warranty, or the limited manufacturer's warranty, that we're just busy enough with that. Just trying to keep up to repairing broken sticks is crazy. So we're good with focusing on that.
And then location-wise, you said you have 88 locations. Or you're in the U.S., you in Canada as well?
Coast to coast, both countries, yeah. And we're just looking at introducing this into the European market as we speak.
Wow. Yeah. We're hoping we get some European teams in the NBHL someday. So maybe we can, sponsorship will help out there.
Yeah, ball hockey in Europe is huge, and it's growing just like everywhere else.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can speak for myself here, where I've had a couple friends that have played high level college ice or pro ice hockey, and they've given me some of their expensive sticks, and I have used them till the last possible second, but they break. And thankfully, a lot of these leagues we play on the deck surface, and the sticks, they don't really grind down. It's just you take a slash or you get caught in the board or something and it snaps in half. And I don't have any of those sticks anymore, and I wish I did, because I would have used this service
right
every single time. And I just before we started working together, I had bought a bunch of new sticks, and I still have them now. But once they break, I can confidently say I will be sending them your way to get repaired.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so worth your while. And like I said, we warranty every repair we do with our lifetime warranty. We stand behind it, and you'll be impressed. I guarantee it. It's quite an amazing. It's an amazing thing to take this piece, this thing that's going in the garbage, and bring it back to its full glory of a high-end performance product with minimal cost. Yeah.
Yeah, and even just, I don't know, you have sticks you get attached to, you don't want to give them up. They break and you're like a little heartbroken. You're like, wow, I scored some goals with this stick. I wanted to keep this one around. So it's nice to be able to keep them alive. And what is the price point?
Most shaft repairs are in the $70, $75 range. Blade repairs are $75, $85. Goalie paddles, blades are $85, $95, up to $100, depending on the severity of the break. Price varies a little bit, but it's in that range.
Well, Randy, you've got a pretty amazing service that you provide. We're happy for it to be a part of the NBHL. And, I want to thank you for taking the time here. Is there anything else you wanted to add before we go? And I'm excited to try it out.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time. It's our pleasure to be partnering with the National Ball Hockey League. It's a good partnership, and it's going to be benefit to many. If anybody has anything they want to learn more about our product or locations or services or anything else, they can go to integralhockey.com. All the tabs are there, showing a map with all our locations, etc., information about each repair. And yeah, we're looking forward to helping all your members save a boatload of money.
So yeah, everybody in the NBHL, everybody listening, integralhockey.com. You can, check our socials. You'll see the Integral Stick Play of the Month. You'll see their ad in our newsletter. You can't miss them if you're on our stuff. So if your stick breaks, Randy's your guy. And thanks a lot. Appreciate the time.
Thanks, Anthony. I appreciate it.
All right, and now it's time for the Q&A for this week's podcast. First question was from Nick Beard. He said, what happened to the power rankings after the first ones dropped? I think playoffs started or something. What happened?
Yeah, honestly, we kind of dropped the ball with that one. They were, by the time we had them compiled and everything, the playoffs had already started. It would be kind of interesting to drop them now because I have the rankings, but like the playoffs had started, teams have been eliminated that were like ranked pretty high, so it was like kind of like we can't put these out with these teams already knocked out of the playoffs. I don't know. If people actually want them, maybe we can find some way to reveal the unreleased power rankings. But we do have them. The timing just didn't work out, and it won't happen again.
If you see them come out on NBHL leaks, maybe something happened. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll feed them to NBHL leaks so they can get them out to the people. Our
leaked power rankings from 2 weeks ago. or 2 months ago,
from
I guess.
July, end of June, beginning of July. Yeah.
Maybe get some pre-Mylec Cup power rankings out.
Yeah, we might want to do that. That would be tough to rank them, but we should do that.
We'll do it right now.
All right. Well, everybody, we might have that. Listen, don't hold us to it.
And the post Mylec Cup podcast, you can yell at us if we didn't do it.
Yeah, that works. Yeah. And that brings us to our next question, which is from Nick Kilcourse, who's actually playing in the Mylec Cup for the Orlando Mutiny out of Tier 2 division, or tier. He said, in your opinion, who are the favorites to win it all in each tier? So, prediction.
All right. So, Tier 1, I've got the Tier 2, I've probably got the it could also be the but
damn.
Yeah, it'll be the probably.
Wow.
Tier 3, how could it not be the like it's the year, we all know that.
Yeah.
And then in women's, it's probably like the play, they had a dominant playoff, so
they're somewhat local, less travel. I mean,
but still kind of more travel than some of the teams,
right?
Or less.
Could be either way.
Yeah.
Well,
I was thinking that.
Go ahead, G. Yeah.
I can't disagree more because I think in Tier 1, it's definitely going to be. I mean, there's no question about it. Their goalie, he's going to stay on his head all weekend. And in Tier 2, I know you said it was going to be but I'm pretty sure it's going to be and believe it or not, all
really?
Your first prediction, out of the window, maybe their opponent could make it, but there's no way they're going to make it. And then in Tier 3, the team from it's got to be they're definitely going all the way. And out of the women's tier, probably flew under the radar for all the 4 teams that are making it to the Mylec Cup, but got to give it to I really think they're going to take it.
Those are really good predictions. Yeah. I mean, you said it, bold, but I don't know. In Tier 1, I'll probably agree with you, G. I'm probably taking I don't know. They're just a top-heavy team, so I could see them going a long way. And then Tier 2, I mean, they came last year, but I think the may win. And we'll see, but I really do think that team is strong. And then in Tier 3, another new team to the tournament. They're really good. We'll see how they do. And then finally in the women's tier, a new team that's playing in the Mylec Cup. I heard their goalie's really good, so I think it's going to be
really out of the women's. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there's not many options, but you got to go with
We'll see.
Yeah. Great question, Nick.
Yeah, that'll stir the pot a little bit.
Yeah.
Surely there will be no hot controversial takes off of the back of that.
No way. And our next question is from Trevor Altman, Caribou teammate of mine. Will there be a sports book at the event?
We don't know yet. We're speaking with some, but if there is a sports book, there won't be betting on NBHL games. We've had so many people say throughout the years, like, "Oh, we should be able to bet on games. We should be able to bet." No,
The Chetty odds.
do that. Yeah, his odds have been pretty on point. I'll give him credit for it. But no, we can't have people betting on NBHL games. We'd have a bunch of like Pete Roses out there betting on their own games.
Yeah.
But there might be some options maybe to sign up for sports books, maybe some sponsorships. We're looking into that, but TBD, to be determined.
One day, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, we can like grab Michael Jordan's biography, have a sports book.
But if I were to bet on a team, I'd probably bet on the so
That was terrible.
Yeah.
You'd bet on
Yeah,
I'd probably bet on too.
Yeah, I could put a couple bucks on.
That's it, right? That's everything.
That's it.
That's the podcast, boys.
All right. We'll do one more podcast before Mylec Cup, so look out for it.
Yeah, we'll probably do a Mylec Cup preview episode, and then we're almost there. Season's almost over, so thanks for listening, and see you in a couple weeks.
Peace.
See you, everyone.